Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everything Arsenal. It's not often we come on here to do a preview after back-to-back losses. At least in the last couple of seasons, it's not something that's happened a lot, but it has happened now. We've lost in the Premier League last week against Aston Villa, and we've also been eliminated from the Champions League. And our next game is Wolves. 6 games to go, and Wolves is the first one. Now, Wolves is one of those teams, apart from the top six, Wolves is one of those other teams that whenever you especially go to their places, you're like, hey, this can be a tricky one. There's like Brighton away, Aston Villa away, Newcastle away, those kind of teams. And Wolves is definitely one of them. This season already, they've beaten Man City there. They've also beaten Tottenham there. They've also beaten Chelsea there. They are so close to picking up something against Man United until they scored in the 98th minute or something. So they've given every single big team a tough game there. And they always give us a tough time ever since they came to the Premier League. I think they've beaten us a lot of times since they came to the Premier League. But the last couple of seasons, we've been able to make that correct. Last season, we went there and we won comfortably. And this season, obviously, at our place, we did win. Should have been more comfortable than it was, but we ended up winning 2-1 in that game. But looking at this fixture, and the others, like we're going to go Tottenham and those other teams, this is a fixture we have to win. Like, Man City are not playing again up until Thursday. We are going to play Wolves and Chelsea before Man City play again. Liverpool play Fulham on the weekend as well, away from home. Fulham, another team that has beaten most of the big teams as well. Now, you win this game and you win the Chelsea one, you're 4 points ahead of Man City, even though they have 2 games in hand, but you rather have the points than the games in hand, as we've always said. But you need to pick up the points. Now, the confidence could be down. Especially in the fan base, a lot of people have already given up, or a lot of people are looking into next season and all that, and people are already looking at the transfer window. But there's still 6 games, and I said I don't want us to capitulate again. By capitulating, I mean I don't want by the time we get to May and we look at the league table, Man City have already won the Premier League title with 2 games to go, and they've finished 7 points ahead of us at the end of the season. We don't want that to happen. If Man City are going to win the title, they are 2 points ahead of us right now. Let them win by 2 points. If we win every single one of our remaining games and Man City still win the title, I'll be like, listen, from January up to May, we literally won every single home game every single game apart from the Aston Villa one, and we still didn't win the title. There's nothing much you can do about that. You just say Man City is better than you. But what we don't want to happen is from the 6 games remaining, we end up losing 2 and then drawing 2 and then winning 2. And then we only pick up 8 points or something from the remaining 18 points. That is what we don't want to happen. And we need to pick up the points. Now we're out of the Champions League. We're also not in the FA Cup. So there will be breaks somewhere. We'll play Wolves on the weekend and then play Chelsea in the midweek on the Tuesday, and then I think Tottenham that weekend. And then from that point on, I think we'll be having a 1 week break between every single game. We have all our players back, apart from Timber. Obviously, all of our players are back. So we need some rotation again. There'll be a lot of talk about the team who should start. There's been a lot of talk about Zinchenko, a lot of talk about Saka, a lot of talk about Havertz, a lot of talk about Jesus. Over the last couple of games, a lot of those players have been talked about a lot. So I'll be interested to know which lineup would you guys start for this game. But go there and get your job done, because if you don't beat Wolves, I think it's definitely over with 5 games remaining. If Man City win their game against Brighton, they're 4 points ahead, and it's too much with 4 or 5 games remaining. It will be too much. So Wolves themselves, they also have some players back. They do have Cunha back. He was injured for a pretty long time. No, not like a net or long time, kind of, but he missed a few games. And then Cunha also missed a few. Cunha and Wang, both of them missed a few games. I think both of them are back now. Net is still not yet back, but they definitely do have some really, really good players in that team. They're one team that can definitely beat you, but they're also a team that you can go there and you beat them 3-0. Like, I've seen Coventry going there and winning recently. I think they only managed the 1-0 against Sheffield United. They also don't really keep clean sheets. I think their last one was against Sheffield back in February. They usually consider a few goals here and there. So that is what you need to do. And one thing that we need to definitely do well this time is, against Aston Villa and Bayern Munich, we played really well in the first half. If you get a 2-goal lead in both of those games, the second half goals probably do not matter. In the second half, the way the game pans out in the second half is totally different. So if we play well, hopefully this time we play well in both the first half and the second half. But if something happens and we don't play well in the second half, let's hope we've gotten a couple of goals in the first half like we did against Luton. So the second half basically doesn't matter even if you don't add a goal. And even if the opponent scores, you already had a 2-goal lead or a 3-goal lead. We need to take advantage of the first half. We need to score a couple of goals in the first half if possible, get a lead. And hopefully second half, we just shut the game out. We just need to pick up wins now. We just need to pick up wins. Adding to our goal difference could be great as well. But this is not really the game I'm looking at in terms of adding to our goals. I'm looking at the home games, not really the away games. Because if Man City draw a game, we're still going, and we win ours, we're still going to be tied. And goal difference is now 5 between the two teams. And obviously, Man City can go and beat someone 4-0, 5-0, and then that is done. So we also need to add to our goal somewhere. But this Wolves fixture is not really the one I'm looking at. But it is a must-win game because we don't want our season to completely end in April. Let's take this all the way to the last game of the season. And for that, if that happens, I'll be able to live with that and look forward to next season. But if we capitulate again, then there'll be that mentality thing of even if we win every single game next season between August and March, people will be like, oh, yeah, it's April again. This is now when Arsenal is going to drop points. We don't want that to happen. And second half have been the problem in those two games we've played. I think Aston Villa and Bayern, we played really well in the first half. Aston Villa should definitely have had a couple of goals in the first half. Trossard should have scored. I think Martinelli should have scored against Bayern Munich as well. Like all those games, we've had some chance in the first half, but second half we've dropped off. I want to see Martinelli part in this game, whether it's the first half or second half. If we need to bring on Vieira or Smith Rowe, let's just use them. I don't see the point of just having them there on the bench if you're not using them completely. Like yesterday, I would have preferred to see Fabio Vieira coming on instead of Nketiah because we weren't really creating anything anyway. So having Nketiah and Jesus there and Havertz, and we're not creating anything anyway, that didn't really make sense. So rather have Fabio Vieira and Odegaard trying to create for Jesus and Havertz in those last 10 minutes. It didn't really make sense. And obviously against Aston Villa second half, we didn't bring in Partey when he really needed him. That also didn't make sense. So it's a tough game, never an easy game playing against Wolves. I think they're 11th. They've been on a poor run recently. They've dropped to 11th. I think they got as high as 7th or 8th in the last couple of months, but they've dropped off to 11th. But I'd still expect them to finish above. I'd say in the top 10, I think they still have to play Liverpool. I think they also still have to play Man City and also Arsenal. So they have some tough games, but I would assume they win the others and finish in the top 10. But let's hope that you're not the ones that they take points away from in that top 3. So which kind of lineup would I go for if I was Mikel Arteta? I already have my lineup in mind. We have the green kit on screen, but you're going to be wearing the red one, I'm sure. So defensively, I'm going to keep it the same. David Ryan goal, Tomiyasu at left back, White at right back, Saliba and Gabriel. Now, yes, we lost to Bayern Munich, but Gabriel and Saliba, especially Saliba, was really, really solid in this second leg. And I think Gabriel, apart from the mistake, I think they were okay in the first leg, apart from those mistakes that they made. Most of them, they definitely kept Kane quiet. Kane only had a penalty and he scored from it. He didn't really do anything else, especially yesterday as well. They managed to keep him quiet. Another big striker they've managed to keep quiet. But we also need them to keep Cunha quiet in this game, and the likes of Sarabia and all those guys. I think Tomiyasu dealt well with Sane. Start him again, just give him another game. And also on the right side, just keep Ben White playing. I've seen a lot of people complaining about the minutes these players have played, but players like Ben White, they can play every single game, no problem. We just need rotation with the other players in the team. So defensively, I'd keep it the same, absolutely no problem. I don't think we really got exposed, apart from once or twice when the cross came in and they were caught off guard, but keep it the same. I do have a feeling, though, I would not be surprised if Zinchenko started this game. In games where you're kind of dominating possession and all that, I would not be surprised if Zinchenko started. But I do remember one of Zinchenko's mistakes this season came against Wolves at home. Midfield-wise, please, just give me Thomas Partey in midfield for this one, even if it's just one half or 60 minutes. Play him in this one. Let's see what he can do for us. If he plays poorly, fine. Then we know, okay, maybe he can't play those big games against Chelsea or Tottenham. But if he comes on and he plays well, has a one-man of the match performance, give him 60 minutes, take him off, keep him fresh for the Chelsea game and the Tottenham games coming up. But Thomas Partey, for me, starts in midfield in this one. Let's change it because it's not be working the last couple of games. So just bring in Partey. Jorginho has been okay, absolutely no problem. I still want Jorginho to stay and help our midfield out next season as well. But let's see Partey for this one. If he doesn't play this one again, I feel like maybe Etta doesn't trust him anymore, or maybe he's just not recovered completely, and that will be a big problem. If it's the recovery and the injury is still affecting me and he can't play 10, 20 minutes, then that's a lot of problems. In front of him, no changes. Declan Rice and Odegaard. Even yesterday in a game where we kind of struggled, I think Odegaard did okay. He tried his best, and Declan Rice had a iffy game, not the 8, 9 out of 10 performances we've been used to this season. You can tell we don't have the experience in the Champions League. Like most of those players, even on screen at the moment. Saliba never really played in the Champions League. Gabriel, maybe one season. Dryer, never. Tomiyasu, never. Ben White, never. Rice, never. Like most of those players have never played in the Champions League. So it was a very new situation for us. So yeah, but they've definitely played in the Premier League, so I'm hoping to see a performance in this one. So Partey, Rice, and Odegaard, the midfield that everyone has been asking for a long time, that is what I would do. Now, forward line. Forward line is the place we have a lot of options. Some of them people don't trust, some of them people don't want, some of them on poor forms, all of that. Some of them not having the greatest seasons. Now, Martinelli is not having the greatest season. He did not match his season from last. Saka is having a difficult spell as well. Havertz was playing really well between February and March, but he's kind of dropped off again the last couple of games. Jesus is not finishing the chances he's getting the last 2-3 games. Trossard, mixed performances. Sometimes he does well, sometimes he does poorly. Nketiah, people don't want. Nelson, people don't want. So we have like 7-8 options, but not too many to choose from at the moment. Too many to choose from, but not too many to be excited about in terms of their recent performances. But for me, I'm just going to keep it the same. I am going to play Saka on the right side. I'm going to play Martinelli on the left side. Listen, Saka has been disappointing for a few games, but I do think there's still some games in between there that has been good. Like at home to Bayern Munich, I feel like for 50, 60 minutes he was really good, but then disappeared in the last part of that game. Against FC Porto, I think he was poor. Against FC Porto at home, I think he was really, really poor. And then yesterday against Bayern, he was way too quiet, way too quiet. But again, we don't really have any options unless we play Jesus on the right side. But I'd play Saka in this one. If he has another stinker, then maybe play Jesus on the right side against Chelsea if Saka has another stinker. But for this one, I'll give him this game. I think he'll really want to prove people wrong. Martinelli as well on the left side. And then striker, who will I play on striker? At the striker position. For this one, I'm going to go for Gabriel Jesus. I'm going to bring Havertz off the bench for this one. He's another player who's played a lot of games, a lot of games. So I'm going to play Martinelli, Jesus, and Saka up front. I also want a bit of pace in behind. So that's why I've gone for those three. And then that leaves on the bench Ramsdale, Zinchenko, Kivior, Jorginho, Havertz, Trossard, Smith, Vieira, and Eddie Nketiah. So those are the players on the bench, and that is the starting lineup I would go for. I would be confident of winning the game if we go with that. We should be able to win a game. And away from home in the Champions League, we've been below average, but in the Premier League away from home, we've been great, especially recently as well. I mean, drawing at Man City, keeping a clean sheet there, going to Brighton, playing them off the park, keeping a clean sheet, winning 3-0, going to West Ham, keeping a clean sheet, playing them off the parks, getting 6 goals. Same at Sheffield, same at Burnley. Like away from home in the Premier League, we've been unstoppable. And then you can also go back to December where we drew with Liverpool away from home. We've had like 3 bad results away from home this season: Aston Villa, Fulham, and Newcastle. But most of the rest have been great. And Wolves, I hope it's one of them. We've been 2 years ago, we'd have had a lot of problems handling Brighton and Wolves, but recently, at least we know now we can go to Wolves and win. We can go to Brighton and win. We know those middle teams around there between 6th and 11th. We know that you can go to those teams and win. Let's hope this is one of those games, because as I said, let me make it clear, if we win every single game and Man City win every single game, I'll be able to handle that at the end of the season if they still beat us by 2 points. But what I don't want to happen is for us to capitulate and end up finishing 7-8 points behind them. That is not what I don't want to happen. So my prediction for this game, I am going to go for a clean sheet. I'd not be surprised if they scored. They have really good players in Cunha and Sarabi and Wang, who is now back, and also set pieces. They can score a couple if they can. You don't know if Dawson is fit. I'm going to go for Wolves 0, Arsenal 2. It's not going to be completely easy, but I'm going to go for a 2-0 Arsenal win. I'm going to go for the wingers to score. It's been long since they both scored in a game. Saka and Martinelli to both score. In this game, by the way, Odegaard loves these kinds of games. Brighton away, Wolves away, loves these kind of games. He always gets involved a lot. But I'm going to go for Saka and Martinelli to score. Probably Odegaard to assist at least one of them. So let me know a prediction for the game. Your starting lineup for the match. Have you given up on the Premier League season already? Are you just waiting for next season in the transfer window, or do you still hope that we can do something up until the end of the season? Let me know all that. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.